In this episode, we're going to be talking about protein, how much we really need, and how much we don't need. So I want to welcome you back to the channel. This is Stop the Clock with Brad. Thanks for tuning in. A reminder, we have a Facebook group called Stop the Clock where you can be more interactive with the channel. Just go on to Facebook and search Stop the Clock and we'll get you in there. So protein, we know it's important to build muscle. Muscle is what we need as we get older and even when we're young, but especially as we age, and we've talked about how sarcopenia can set in and waste our muscle. We want to have as much muscle as possible, so if we do happen to waste some, we still have lots left. We don't want to fall down and break our hip or do something crazy like that when we're trying to live to be, say, 100-something years old and then be in a wheelchair for 30 years. That's nuts, right? So we want to be strong. But then a lot of people say, but hey, all that protein, it's expensive. Well, it can be. So let's kind of talk about where we were so we can talk about where we want to go. So when I started lifting in the 90s, anything you read, Flex Magazine, Muscle Mag, all those fun things, your gym bros you talked to, it was all a gram of protein per pound of body weight. If you are a 230-pound person, you needed 230 grams of protein. Some people even took it more extreme, and there were articles written about it. Maybe it's 1.5 grams, maybe it's 2 grams. At that point, a 200-pound person would be eating 400 grams of protein. So that's where we were, and yes, that can be very expensive. And that's where a lot of the protein supplements came in to help you get the protein you needed, and at the same time, they were a little cheaper than going out and buying meat. Was that science there just to help the industry sell those things? I don't know. But in the time since then, we found out that you really only need 0.8 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass. Lean body mass, not your total body mass. Well, what is lean body mass? That is your weight minus your fat. So if you're a 200-pound person and you've got 10% body fat, that's 20 pounds. You subtract that, you have 180 pounds of lean body weight. So that right there, that's what you would be eating for. That's the recommendation you see, 0.8 per pound of lean body mass. But I look at it a little differently. Well, let's take that 180 now and say, well, our bone, everybody's bone's a little different. Mine's around 9 pounds. Well, you take that, now I'm down to 171. And then muscle is really comprised, about half of it is water. So you can look and see, like with me, if I wake up in the morning and I weigh, and I'm at one body weight and my lean muscle is one way, I drink water, come back 2 hours later, my muscle mass increases because my muscles are getting rehydrated in the morning. So you look at that and say, well, we can't take all of our water weight away, but if half of my water weight is in my body, it's not all in my muscle, I'll pull out maybe 20 more pounds of that. Now that's dropped me down to around 150 or so, right? So that really lowers the amount of protein that you need. And if you remember the episode that we had earlier about how inflammation can make you absorb less protein, if we're keeping our inflammation levels lower, then we're absorbing more protein. That's a little less protein that we have to eat with low inflammation levels than we would need to eat if our inflammation levels were high. So again, you look at it, and the amount of money we would spend on protein 20 years ago with the information that we had then, and now we've cut our money that we spend on this protein in half. And it's also better for our bodies that we're not having to digest that much protein. So again, the formula is simple. Just take your body weight, subtract your fat from it, subtract another 7 to 10 pounds for bone, maybe 20 pounds for water, And that's going to be about the amount of protein that you're going to need to eat to sustain your muscle growth. Because if I'm going to the gym and I'm working this hard lifting weights, I don't want to go in there and not have the protein I need to build that muscle that I want. That'd be a waste of my time. So I've had great success eating these 2 meals a day, getting around 110 grams of protein a day. I've seen no loss in my lean muscle. Instead, I've seen gains. I've certainly not had a loss in my strength. Now in my 50s, I'm as strong as I was in my 20s. I've recovered all of that. And now doing that, eating 2 meals a day, when back then I was eating 6, 7, and 8 meals a day. So that's the news I have for this week. I want to thank you for watching. If you have any comments, please leave them. If you like this episode, give me a big thumbs up. If you like the channel, subscribe. And remember, aging is a choice.